Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel and to Midtown USA. This is episode number 2, and I am starting this episode literally about maybe 30 minutes or so after saying goodbye to you all from episode number 1. And I just kind of thought that I would come together with another very quick episode for you all just to kind of show you some of the things here on the farm. Now, again, it's not a map tour. Don't really do those. This is our cow pasture here. So if you remember from Westbridge Hills, this is actually another field that was kind of south of the main farm area, and the cows were actually down probably around field number 19 or so is where the cows were on the original Westbridge Hills. And let's see, I don't think we didn't have pigs on in Farm Sim 15, did we? Or maybe we did, and I'm just drawing a blank. But in any event, the sheep were over there by probably just a little bit west of field number 12, down there where that R was moving, where we've got a hired worker working. But anyway, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on the comparisons and everything of this, but again, just really having a ball, I've got to say, on this map. And again, I've been playing it for probably about 3 or 4 hours now total, and it's just been fantastic. So yes, of course, this is our service pickup. You pretty much will see this on all of my maps. I don't know if this is more realistic compatible or not. We need to take it a bit easy, but I kind of thought that I would. We're actually gonna do some farm work. I think we're gonna go down and try to spray those grass fields with some liquid fertilizer, just so that we can, whenever it does come time to cutting grass, we can make sure that we get the best yield possible. But I kind of thought I would take you all down here and show you the train, because again, go see on Farmer Klein's video. That will be, you'll get a great experience from that. But let's see, where will we be best served? I think maybe right over here. I don't know which direction it comes from, but we're going to just park up right here and get out. And what I will do is I'm going to edit the video. We're not going to, trust me, we're not going to get out there and get run over by the train. But I will just kind of edit the video, and when it comes along, it comes through quite frequently. And like I said, it is quite a long train, and I think you'll be quite impressed with it when it does decide to come through. All right, there's the train coming from that direction. So chassis system and some, looks like some grain cars. I wasn't joking when I said it was long. And some other, looks like Burlington Northern. And here's some New Holland tractors, some cable, some John Deere combines, and there we go. So coming up, Alberta, some grain tanks. We've got, look at the graffiti. I mean, look at the attention to detail. Really congrats, ccs101. I don't know if those are models you created yourself or if you found them somewhere, but I take my hat off to you for that. That is just incredible. All right, so we are going to go back to the main farm, and we're going to go and do a little bit of farm work, because after all, that's what this this show is all about. It's farm sim, and so we need to do a little bit of farm work. There goes our big bud coming down the hill there, plowing this massive field. This cell tower or whatever that is, that wasn't part of Westbridge on 15. So there's been a lot of really cool enhancements, I think, some additions to kind of bring this map, or this variation of this map, to sort of modern spec, and I'm really quite impressed with everything that CCS 101 has put into this. And it looks like I turned wrong, so we will kind of come in the back way. Not a problem. And we'll come on around. And again, these elevation changes, I think this was all pretty much the same with Westbridge Hills. There was a little bit of elevation change here. All right, we'll park here in the shade because, hey, shade matters when it's going to be 80 degrees or when it's almost 80 degrees at this particular point in time. So we will climb up in our, this is the Horsch PT350, I believe that's what that said. And this is part of the Horsch DLC that's available through Giants. It's the free free add-on. I guess maybe we should call it a mod since it actually wasn't paid DLC. But in any event, great stuff, and so I am quite liking it, quite liking all of this equipment. And we're going to use a little bit of a variety of stuff. We're going to use some of the Kuhn stuff. Obviously, we've got the Big Bud, we've got the Great Plains row crop seeder that we have in there. And by the way, those, well, the Big Bud wasn't, but the Great Plains row crop seeder, that gets added to the map if you have that DLC and if you have it enabled. So he's kind of, ccs101 has kind of taken advantage of some of the recent DLCs that come out, including the Kuhn pack, that if you have the Kuhn pack enabled, you get one of the Kuhn square balers. So cool stuff, cool stuff. And one thing I wanted to point out that I failed to mention in the first video, the first episode, is that I have turned the mud off on this map. If there's any criticism at all, and you know me, folks, I try not to criticize our map developers, our map creators, because these guys are so talented. They're so incredibly smart, so incredibly gifted to be able to do these things. I certainly couldn't do it. I've got two left hands when it comes to this kind of stuff. But the map was just a little, or the mud on the map was just a little bit too OTT, or over the top. You know, we don't have any rain right now. I could have rain in the forecast. Let's look at our forecast, by the way. So we're going to hit 101 on Wednesday. Again, when have you seen 101 on a farm sim map? So in any event, the mud was just, let me see if it's going to turn. Yep, we're getting a good fertilize. Okay, so when have you seen 101 degrees? But anyway, the mud was a little bit, like I said, over the top. It really becomes difficult, and I'll take my hat off because Farmer Klein has yet to deactivate the mud on his gameplay. I don't think that necessarily makes him any better of a virtual farmer than I am. It's just our tastes and everything. But it was just a little bit, like I said, over the top. And because there is no way for, I guess there is no way for a map modder to basically say, we don't want to have mud active if there hasn't been rain in a period of time. And so it's just always there. And you guys have seen it. We've got mud enabled on Thornton Farm, and I've often talked about the fact that it's a little bit over the top on Thornton Farm as well. And we've got mud enabled on Snetterton Farm, but it doesn't really seem to be over the top. It doesn't. Let me do one thing here. I'm going to turn on GPS because we have GPS in this piece of equipment here, and we might as well use it. That will help me keep my wits about myself. But it's not too much. It's not over the top and everything. It doesn't tend to take control of our vehicles to a point to where that it's hard to maneuver them through gates. If you watch my Thornton Farm series, you know that one field just kind of off to the area where the cows and everything are, it's kind of difficult to get a tractor through that gate. Well, the same thing occurs on this map in trying to move like a tractor with a water tanker and everything in to feed or to water the animals. And so I've turned it off because, again, it sort of takes away from my vision of how I want to do the story. and everything. And I think what we're going to do is we're just going to proceed on forward to field number 18 and just kind of do this in big long rows here. One thing Farmer Klein did, and I will most likely do the same thing, is just create a course play course, or define a course play course, and make this one big giant field. We'll move away here just a little bit so we don't bend our or try not to bend our booms there. I think we can raise the booms up as well if we need to. Oops, got my foot off the gas there. Yeah, we can raise the boom up just a little bit, get it up above that rise there, and then we'll let it back down, and so we're getting maximum flow there into the soil. Hopefully we can get a good yield off of this grass field, or these two grass fields. These are our only two grass fields that are currently planted in grass, and these come default to the map planted in grass. And so I'm contemplating which field I will commit to grass, and that way we'll have more of it, because we are going to run a fairly large number of cattle on this map as well as sheep. We're not going to do pigs here on this map. So we've got pigs on Snyderton Farm, and I think that's really enough. The pigs, pigs just aren't as exciting to me on these maps as the sheep and the cattle are, I suppose. So anyway, hope you all are having a wonderful day. And are you ready for Christmas? It's just around the corner. I'm not exactly sure when you're going to watch this video. I'm going to try to get away from predicting when I'm going to be posting videos and everything. I suppose we could actually move out this way just a little bit there. But I'm going to stop trying to predict when I'm going to post videos, because that's kind of hard for me to keep up with. But we are getting very close. I'm pretty sure you will see this video before Christmas. I hope so anyways, because I hope to be able to keep up with a somewhat of a schedule. Let's pull this on around. Let's try not to sink our boom into the ground there. Let me raise that up. And we can move around. This is the first time I've used this particular self-propelled sprayer, and I quite like it. It's got a huge reach on it. And here's one of our other industries there that's part of the map. That's really cool stuff. Doesn't really do any good to spray this out here, because we won't get a whole lot of grass from that, just simply because of those weeds. Those weeds are not mowable, cuttable. I wish they were. I wish that Giants would factor in not only being the ability to cut grass, but also cut weeds, because clearly that would be something that we could do if we were to bring a mower through here. Of course, I suppose that there could be some that would say, well, you wouldn't really want to mow weeds in with your grass that you're cutting for hay or grass or whatever, and I can see the point to that, but it'd still be nice if when we mowed over it, it would at least go away. Speaking of some really cool things, I was watching a map review from Farmer Klein today. He just recently posted it, and for the life of me right now, I can't think of the map, but I will over on my laptop here while my cruise control is on here. Let me just quickly take a look at his channel, so pause with me for just one moment as I kind of talk through this. Come on, Farmer Klein channel, boot up here, and his videos. And it is the Spectacle Island map that he reviewed, and again he posted it on the 12th, I believe, of December. So go to his channel and check that out. Very cool concept that particular map modder put into the map, and I had no idea it was even possible. But basically, as you cut trees down around the main farm area, or at least around the area where Farmer Klein was demonstrating, things will begin to disappear. So in other words, the map modder has set up some trash barrels, some piles of rocks, some just trash, just junky looking farm area. The whole concept of the map in and of itself is that it is a map that, or it is a farm that is no longer being used, and basically you're coming in to having to clear some trees and basically get things going again. And if you cut some trees down, stuff gets cleaned up, and I think that's very cool. I wish that there was a way that you might even take it one step further, that the more that you do, like in cutting some trees and stuff down like that, that perhaps the house that is there on the map is kind of run down, desolate, and everything, that might actually get replaced with a newer looking building. But I had no idea that it was possible for things like that to occur, and I think that's really cool. I think that's a cool concept, and I would hope that not only map modders, map developers, and everything would further kind of develop that concept, but also that maybe Giants would also choose to take that a step further with, Farm Sim 19, for example, which, by the way, won't be long. Roughly 10 months or so after the new year. Essentially, a Farm Sim, the new version of Farm Sim, typically and historically always comes out in the October time frame. So of the even year. So obviously this next year will be 2018, and that is when we will expect to see Farm Sim 19 come out in all of its glory. And can't wait to see what they're going to basically include with Farm Sim 19, what that's going to be, how it's going to differ from Farm Sim 17 or how Farm Sim 15. I think that there's some contention as to, especially if you read some of the reviews on some of the, like Steam, for example, there's some folks that posted fairly early on after Farm Sim 17 was released, don't waste your money. It's basically just a copy of Farm Sim 15, but with, the names changed to protect the innocent, that sort of thing. And quite honestly, I think you couldn't be more incorrect with that statement. I think obviously that there are some similarities between Farm Sim 15 and 17, but I also think that there are enough differences that it makes it worth owning the game, Farm Sim 17. I know a lot of folks have come into the hobby or come into the community from Farm Sim 17. My buddy Doug Zorley, for example, he owned Farm Sim 15, really didn't get hooked on it, and then when 17 came out, he decided to give it a go again, and he has probably 1,000 hours or more on Farm Sim 17 by now, so he's well and truly addicted. But I certainly hope that Giants will appreciate, and also most importantly perhaps recognize, that while the competition might be somewhat struggling, I think we all had hoped that Giants competition would be a little bit more stronger at this particular point in time. In other words, I think we had all hoped that by this point in time, Cattle and Crops was supposed to have been released full blown. We were supposed to have the beta, the early access, early adopter stuff in the spring. That got delayed. At this particular point in time, the game should have been out. That hasn't happened. And so obviously Giants may have had a little bit of forced a little bit of a setback to, there's a gold nugget, to Cattle and Crops when they sort of got the exclusive access or exclusive well, exclusive access, that's the right word to use, to horse. That may hurt a little bit, but anyway, I hope that Giants would recognize that that we, as fans, as customers, want some of these different things built into the game. We would like to be able to have AI, for example, hired workers that would be very cheap to use, to utilize. They wouldn't have necessarily as much skill, but as we use them, the more we use them, the more skill that they would develop, the better that they would get, the more expensive, obviously, it would cost to employ them. And things that you could do, such as, say to a hired worker wants you to go and plow field number 5. And today we've got to drive the tractor to field number 5. We've got to get them positioned in the field, and either through hire a worker or AI combine or through courseplay, we've got to establish that. Cattle and crops, very early on, sort of demoed how that you could essentially assign a task to a worker, and that worker would basically set off and go out and do the task and then come back and the job would be completed. So it's little things like that that I think that we want to see incorporated into the game, and I hope that Giants will continue to listen to us, the customer, and not just continue to essentially put out essentially the same thing but make just small improvements. I think we really want to see some game changers. I think we really want to see this go even further into the simulation side of things. And I would even go so far as to say, and I doubt very seriously that anyone from Giants watches my videos, but if they do, I would highly suggest that they incorporate some of the wonderful mods that we all know and love into the base game. So in other words, instead of relying on the Seasons mod, for example, that they would just put Seasons into the game. Instead of relying on courseplay, that they would just better work their AI engine and incorporate that into the game. GPS as an example. I think that there are a handful, a relatively small handful of mods that everybody enjoys, and I've pretty much hit the names of those: Seasons, GPS, courseplay, and have those in. Oh, this is where our pigs live, right here, on the south side of the map. Incorporate those into the gameplay. Now, I know some people will argue and say, but well, I don't want to, I don't want to play with Seasons mod because I don't have that much time, and I essentially want to be able to, get in and get out of, my map and not, not be locked into having to wait, through all the seasons and everything. Well, simply just do it the way that they did the plowing feature, which is just you could turn it off. So in the menu, like this, for example, where we have all of these things that we can set, like this, just have Seasons mod on or off. GPS, I don't guess that would really matter. Maybe that doesn't need to be turned on or off, etc. I think you guys understand what I'm saying. I wish that they would incorporate some of that stuff, because I think it's pretty evident that we want that many of the folks that really truly enjoy the simulation aspects of not only this game, but simulation-based gaming altogether, really do want this. Let's see, can we open this? Oh, we can. Let's see if we can squeeze through here. All right, we'll just leave that gate open. You know me, I don't typically shut gates unless I absolutely have to. And oops, more realistic. It's working much better, by the way, folks. Then this tank is empty. Okay, well, I need to solve that. Anyway, we're coming up on 25 minutes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull this guy in here and go ahead and park this guy up. We are done spraying for now because we don't really have anything else that we really need to spray until we get some crops that are poking their little heads out of the ground. But I did want to spray that grass because we are going to want to have maximum yield on that as soon as we can cut it, and we'll be cutting grass whenever we have the opportunity to do that. But we'll just basically wrap things up here and just invite everyone to head over to my Discord channel. You'll find the link down below in the show notes if you want to interact with me, ask me questions. Check out my website, grizzlybearsims.com. You'll find a complete mod list there, a spreadsheet with all my mods on it, and also 3 Dudes Gaming Network and PCSG, and also down below in the video you'll find links to all of my friends who produce wonderful content, pretty much like I do, PG or rated G content, good clean family fun. And until next time, folks, from Midtown USA, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.